Ooh, okay.
Welcome to the April 2025 edition of Recordando, the ongoing series, which presents an opportunity for people to gather virtually, commune, joke, laugh, sip their favorite aperitif, and share poetry. Anyway, yeah, it's just me, Tammy Gomez, and we've been here in your ears and your eyes for, oh my gosh, I'm losing count. We started in 2020, October and November. I can't remember which month, but yeah, here it's going
November
on five.
2020. I know
Wow,
it for
we're going
sure.
on 5 years. Oh my gosh. So it's so exciting to be here. I missed last month because I was traveling. I also had COVID last month, so it's a very busy month. Had to get all those things out of the way. I'm back in the seat here with you guys, and I'm happy that we have Sue here because I haven't seen Sue or talked with you like this in, oh my gosh, it feels like a year. So, looking forward to hearing
I
everybody's
know.
work. I would love for everybody who wants
Great.
to read before I read. So, who would like to go first? I know Richard has something, and the rest of you can start preparing a piece. Or if you want to just recite,
I
speak off
do.
the dome, that's fine as well.
I could read this thing I wrote uh at the Earth Day writing today, and that means that it's not there's no revision. It's just plopped on the page, and it's a little sillier than what I usually write, and so I suppose that's good. You take a risk, and then if I may, I'll also read that other one I just showed you that very quickly, but I just didn't want to start with that one because it's so invasive. But okay, this is what I wrote today. I'm not going to tell you what the prompt I chose was. There were a bunch of prompts, but you'll because it would give too much away. This is called Bad Day at the Office. Okay, some idiot left the heat on full blast and it doesn't bother me, but my plants are suffering and I'm pissed. I have taken so much care with them, tending and nurturing and giving them pep talks and making songs for each one, plus a morning and midday and sunset song for them all. So much invested, and all for what? I even put together some oxygen breathers to kiss them all with carbon and give them friends to exchange with. And what do these lungfish do? Stumble around and knock things over and chew on my precious plants without with chew on my preciouses without planting more or at least apologizing. But no, they move them around like they own them or something and turn up the freaking heat. It is just so not cool. Ha ha, bad earth joke. So, what to do with these obnoxious breathers? There are so many fun choices. I can barely decide. I could just take my lovely plants away and see how well they do with no oxygen, a juicy option, but I don't want to get rid of my plants. No, dear. How about I turn down the heat, way down? Shouldn't bother the plants too much, but the dumb ones might rip them out and twine them into blankets. Oh no. So maybe I'll crank it up even further. That'll still hurt some plants. Some might expire, but as long as I keep them watered, enough should be okay. But those damn pests will have their limits, and hopefully they'll shrivel up before too long. That's a little more compromise than I'd like, but oh wait, here's an even better idea. They all know I'm spinning, even those tiny brains who still think I'm flat, like really. But what they don't know is that I can spin faster whenever I want. So I'll just speed it up slowly, then faster, then really fast until those measly lice just fly right off me. But everything else, everything with roots should be just damn fine. I love this idea. Ready, plants? Quick, spread the word to your ecosystems. Get all those critters to dig their holes and batten down. Just don't tell those humans. Already, hang on. Plants and friends, here we go. I mean, it was silly.
Yeah.
The prompt was, how does the earth feel? What does the earth feel about climate change?
Mm. First
So,
of all, thanks for not spoiling it. by giving us the prompt. And second of all, thanks for the warning before before this all kicks in.
Yeah, well, you're not going to know.
I'm gonna strap in.
So, and if I may, totally because Tammy
That
was
wasn't so
complaining about old
cute.
people talking about
That wasn't so
colonoscopy.
cute. It was nice. I
It,
liked it. I wouldn't say it was cute.
thanks. It might be worth putting on my website or something at some point, or some version of it. It needs some cleaning up. Okay, and this one, because Tammy mentioned these, I feel like I have to. I don't. Yeah, it's called "Oh Colonoscopy," and actually, somebody dared me to write a poem about a colonoscopy, and I was like, or she dared a whole panel of people who were at a writing conference. And I was like, I will, of course. Oh colonoscopy, I don't remember you, though you have shaped my life, or at least have lived my shape. Shape me, O colonoscopy. Let me be the manner and form that might be me, like it or not, sans lump of fleshly blasphemy. I live, I lump, I be, and if I may, I honor you for being me today, for entering and leaving me to stay alone and whole, unlumped and full of holes, plunging breath by breath through dream and sty, entering and leaving, cleansed and wry. That was
Ooh,
an ode to a
let's go get
colonoscopy.
one.
Yeah, woohoo!
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway, I,
that's so fitting for what we were just talking about.
yeah.
Sounds very blissful.
It kind of is. I know. I like writing ecstatic odes, and I realized recently I
Yeah.
have a whole book of ecstatic odes to everyday things, which has not been ever published. It's sort of chapbook length, maybe 30 pages or something. And I'm going to put out a call for see if someone will publish that chapbook because it's all mostly joyous. I mean, it's a joyous poem about doing laundry, about my Venetian blinds, about my kitchen table, about water, about waking and sleeping, and everyday things.
I'm curious, were these gathered, like, did you, after a number of years, realize it would make a good idea to kind of put them all together in one place? Or was this from a certain period when you just felt like that all the time?
That's the
Good
first
question.
one made me want to write more. The first one was called Laundry, and I was in a laundromat, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm writing an ecstatic poem about doing laundry. And so I tried a couple more, and then over the course of a few years, it probably started in like 2009 or something like that. And I wrote them occasionally for a couple of years, and then after that, they kind of just sat there and I read them occasionally. And I don't know why I submitted them to a few places, but it's so stupid to submit to contests and things like that. And I just never really shopped them around to like the little publisher presses I know. And I don't know why. So, and then since then, a couple more have cropped up here and there. I needed to write about this or that. The last one in the book is called Quietude, and it's like a meditation practically. It's really quite beautiful and quiet and slow and sort of long, and it leaves you in a pretty marvelous place. And to me, that was like the most blissful. Anyway, yeah. So over the course of a few years, I was doing it, but you can't force things like that. You just have to be like, oh, I'm really blissing out on my glass of water, which I love so much.
That's a great idea, the compilation of that sort of thing. And I love your idea of ending it with that quietude one. It's like, puts me in mind of the corpse pose at the end of a yoga session.
Oh,
What's it called? Savasana. And it's just such a it's this way of doing exactly what you described, like bringing everything back to silence and a sense of union with that silence and with everything else. It sounds like a really good ending for that kind of compilation.
yeah, I think I want to get that little group out there because it's a good time for taking looking at reading poems that are joyous in some way or another. Most of them are joyous. Some of them are just crazy, but not. Yeah.
Do, is the dog barking a problem? Can you guys hear the
It's not
dog?
bothering me.
We can
Does it
hear
bother you?
we can hear it, but it's not a problem for me.
Okay, because I can mute. It's Semana Santa, and they're shooting off fireworks.
Of
Oh,
course. Of
Yeah,
course.
although it's quite solemn. They shoot fireworks for everything,
Yeah.
and dogs go crazy.
it's a background. It's not like it might be super loud where you are.
Yeah,
So,
okay,
Richard, you have a second poem?
I just read the second poem was a colonoscopy poem.
Oh, okay. Got it.
that was
Yeah.
great.
I've got something.
Woo!
I've been doing this ancestral healing work, and I've got this ancestral invocation, and it's a good thing to start with anyway for us. So this is my ancestral invocation, um, and I might be making changes as I go along because I've been thinking about some of the stuff in relation to Richard's podcast, and he's talking about uh, terminologies, but it goes like this: grandmothers, grandfathers, gender expansive ones, those of different ability levels, sexual expressions, ethnocultural backgrounds, and spiritualities, those unknown and known to us, loving, well, luminous ancestors, ancient ones of our respective lands, those who hold wisdom and medicine for healing in our collective lineages. We ask you to be present today. As individuals and communities, we are living through times of uncertainty, polarization, and disconnection. Help us today to attune to our interconnectedness, but also to the ways that we may be perpetuating separateness. Be here with us today to create a container that feels nurturing and inclusive, and where learning and healing can take place. Help us to remember our own innate capacities to heal, resourced by you. I ask that all that is good come to us so that we are supported in our own goodness. We ask that all that is true come to us so that we may feel our truth and have the courage to live it. We ask that all that is beautiful come to us so that we have the power to create beauty in the world. We ask that all that is wise come to us so that we gain from those who have gone before us.
Oh,
Wow, thank you.
Lovely.
that was
Thank you.
inspiring. Actually inspiring. I had to scribble some notes down while you were talking, but I don't believe I missed a word.
That was really a prayer. I
Yeah.
felt, Jeffrey.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's a who is it? Renee Brown. Somebody wrote this book, Fables and Spells,
Hmm.
where she tells little short stories and poems, and she says that all her poems are spells.
Hmm.
They're, they're,
Right.
they're prayers and spells.
Man, Jeffrey, when you were reading that, I felt like I wanted to turn into a mirror and 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 start reflecting the same invocation out in other directions so that what you were doing gets replicated to other places so that we increase the ask. So thank you for that. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
Man.
I appreciated too the sort of the idea of just leaving this space of individualism and coming together as a whole, and it's fitting really well with this political momentum. And yeah, if we could just all, you know today we were protesting in front of a pedicure place in the mall in San Miguel de Allende. So I started thinking pedicure and protests. Yeah, let's merge them. Let's merge everything, you know. Let's not have these ideas anymore about how we're so different. You know, yeah, I've never gotten a pedicure in my life, but come on over here. You know, and that's what I like. The poem inspires me to be more accepting and less judgmental, you know, going forward. And I think that might be a message we all can uh, benefit from in a, you know, in so
Well,
many ways, on so many levels.
I would think that the pleasuring of the feet could be a valuable form of resistance. I'm,
Ooh.
yeah.
I like that.
Well,
Mhm.
there has been so much talk here of it, keeping room for
Yeah.
joy as a form of resistance. I find it as a form of joy is just as good for me. Uh,
Mhm. I like
Jeffrey,
that.
Jeffrey, I was wondering, did you say the name of the poet who said her pieces were all spells, or I might have
Brene
blipped
Brown.
over it?
Brene Brown.
I think it
Rita Mae
was.
Brown.
Oh,
I
wait,
can
did you say Benet Brown or Rita Mae
Rita
Brown?
Mae,
Oh,
right?
Oh,
Is that
oh,
Rita,
right?
Rita Mae Brown? Really?
Adrienne Murray Brown,
Adrienne
Adrienne
Marie
Marie
Brown.
Brown.
Fables and
Oh,
Spells.
Oh
okay.
yeah, very cool.
Oh,
It's I really enjoyed it. A lot of it's in it has she has these prose pieces that are sort of fabulous about this woman in Detroit who has the ability to command water, and the water that she brings up is pure, and so like she's brings up water to give to people that doesn't have lead in it and stuff in Detroit during the crisis,
wow.
and of
That's
course,
impossible.
and so right, exactly.
No, but
That's what makes
Wow.
it such a fabulous uh, fable.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm just curious. I'm gonna take a look at her.
So in
I
hearing that,
put a possible spelling in the chat to remind myself, but because I subscribe to that also in some ways, like one of the workshops, I occasionally on a few occasions have named my workshops magic spells and dictionaries, you
Mm-hmm.
because poetry is magic.
so I want to say
Yeah.
that I feel that in hearing that piece, it would just felt like an incantation and kind of a welcoming, like clearing the space that we share, whether it's virtual
Mm,
or material space, clearing it, and also recognizing all the dimensions, that we occupy. And I love that
yeah.
intentionality. I just felt like you were really shaping air, shaping space with your
Mhm.
words. And when
Mm,
I mean, and I mean, you're not the first to do this, of course, but when it's around, it's really it brings me a feeling of contentment and a feeling of wanting to be
mm,
intentional within the space that you're recognizing. So thank you for bringing that energy with this
yeah.
piece. And in person, when Jeffrey comes to my
Mm,
open mics, you often do a piece that's reminiscent of this, like a kind of a yogic expression that I think is received very well by people in the
mhm.
in-person space. So thank you for
Oh,
bringing that energy. And I don't I mean, sometimes I think it's older folks that feel permitted and feel like, okay, I've been here a while. I think it's okay for me to do this because I don't see a lot of younger people doing it. And I think it would be so nutritious if we could hear young people doing this as well, being intentional about occupying a space
Mhm.
together or recognizing the gathering of peoples in a way, and it could be done with hip hop, it could be done with whatever vernacular is familiar
Mm,
and comfortable for them. But I think by doing these things, Jeffrey, you help model it for other people who might want to,
mhm,
do
mhm.
incantations and welcoming gestures that are physical and
Yeah.
have movement and as well as words and breath. And I love that. We have two people who've joined, so I want to just acknowledge La Pequeña Lulu is here, and Kamala Platt has just checked in. So welcome. We just have heard from Richard Loringer and Jeffrey Polis with some original writing. Next up, Brian or Sue, are either of you wanting to share something now?
I have a very short poem and a little bit of a longer poem that would be pretty interesting to piggyback off Jeffrey's beautiful work. Okay, I haven't done this in a while. Okay, so this first poem was about a couple of Palestinian girls in my high school classroom of ESL, and it's a story. Okay, the first time I sang for my students, was it like hearing a defiled secret or seeing my scarred flesh from another mirror? Once, after school, two sisters wanted to remove their hijabs, just us in the room. Do you want to see our hair? Yes. I was embarrassed by the intimacy, then suddenly entranced by the generous unfurling of the long brown waves down their backs in full bounty of what is hidden and released.
Whoa. Goosebumps. Lots of
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's interesting at this time to have that poem, but yeah, I hope they're okay. And here's another one that deals with ancestry. And I learned that the Mississippi River starts off at a place called Lake Itasca in Minnesota, and that was formed from from a big ice sheet during the ice age, and then it was the lake, and then it became the river. And I'm from New Orleans, and it's kind of like new knowledge in the last couple few years. And I'm comparing my mother to the river. She started off cold from the ice age and knew to keep moving. The lake begat the river became the woman. For a while, the cells were placid, ancestral, merely floating. Some waters have no business mixing, adding to themselves, but they do. She headed south from the frigid terrain of her conception, fed off tributaries. The journey was so sublime, she once said, if I'd have been a man, I'd have been a riverboat captain. She carried bacteria, phosphorus, and nitrogen from her past. She sparkled in the sun, forged curves, widened and became shallow, deposited the sediment that was me. We were unrecognizable to the other. I stayed behind and formed land, salt water gathered at her mouth. That's it.
Oh,
Nice.
lovely. My gosh.
Thank you.
Oh,
I missed your work so much. Great to hear you again.
Oh,
Good to hear you.
yeah,
That was
yeah.
such a
Thank
pleasure.
you.
I love the way you did that through line, seamlessly making the river also an expression of time and family. It was absolutely
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
perfect. Yeah.
It was from a prompt I once read that was, why don't you take some kind of geologic structure or formation or evolution and compare it to someone, do a metaphor. And boy, I took to that like water, man. I was like, I love doing this, boy. I want to develop it more, actually. Maybe make it a whole book.
You took it to it literally like water.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Water. Something I really miss here. It's no water. No water anywhere.
I would love to hear that sometime tried with a backdrop of sound clips of
Mm.
different of water, gurgles and
Oh
drips
yeah.
and spills and rushing,
Cascade.
charging waters.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
glad you haven't stopped at that piece. I like it so much. I want to see it
Oh,
live bigger,
oh,
maybe somewhere, somehow.
thank you. It'd be great to go to Lake Itasca
Yes, yeah,
and
Oh,
to
wow.
be there and take and to record the
yes,
sound,
yeah,
There
yeah.
some
you go.
sounds.
There you go. Not to
Oh,
mention something from around New Orleans and the Gulf there
oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
lapping as it widens out.
Yeah, you don't think of things you're used to,
Hmm.
the things that you've spent years listening to. You don't think of them as poetry anymore. Just the new stuff sometimes.
Except for like Richard mentioned earlier, that when you suddenly get that opening of the eyes and you have a moment of
Yes.
clarity about something commonplace right in front of you. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm going back to New Orleans soon after a pretty long time of not going home. And I wonder what it'll be like to be on the river and hear the river boats and all that again. You know,
Will that be a
I
visit
used to be
too?
afraid that, yeah, that's it.
Just a visit. You
I,
used to be
I when I
afraid?
was, yeah, when I was a kid, I would be in bed, barely hearing the river boats from my bed. And I would be so afraid that the fish would be run over.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Beautiful.
Run over. And my dad said, they move, they move. You don't have to worry about that.
I'm sure they do. That reminds me of a beautiful thing I saw once. Can I interject? Because
Yeah, I'm
it
done.
takes from
Oh,
that.
please.
I was in a coffee shop nearby where I live in Oakland. This is some years ago. It doesn't matter. Just one of my favorite places to hang out. Right at big glass windows, looking at an entire sort of corner and stretch of the street. And as I'm sitting there, I'm noticing something that's unusual going on outside. And I can't quite figure it out. First, I notice it with the people walking down the street because they're stopping, they're looking around, and something going on, and the traffic's going, but it doesn't quite look right. And then I finally realized what I was looking at, and it was a bee migration, but hundreds of thousands of them all going down Piedmont Avenue, like between it's sort of a little commercial district with shops and restaurants and stuff. Not a big street, but park, 2 lanes and parking, but they're just moving en masse down the avenue. They're not bothering anyone, and as the traffic is going down, they just go
Wow.
over it in waves, just
Wow.
because that's where the air was going, and when bees are migrating, you all probably know, they're completely harmless because they're exposed, and so they're not going to do anything except to be amazing.
Hmm.
So I got to see a bee migration from a coffee shop down a little commercial street, and it went on like 15, 20
Wow.
minutes. Hmm.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah.
Oh,
You had to be there.
I just had to.
So Brian, do you have something to read now? Would you like to be next?
Sure. I have a little short kind of sort of a nature poem apropos of this month. Birthday. I could put a little light behind me so I can read this.
And we've had some other people join us. Lorraine is here. Welcome, Lorraine. And Paris, first time attendee. Thank you, Paris, for being here.
Welcome, y'all. Let it be dandelions, then, that rule my arid suburban savannah. If these lions rise to the top, take over the turf, well, go ahead. Who am I to step in and meddle with water or with chemicals? I say, let nature lead and grow here what will grow. And I will watch and learn. And if among the ones who thrive are flowers that some call weeds, well, who am I to try deny the golden mane of life, the glorious puffball of hope, the floating seeds of dreams? Let it be dandelions everywhere. Thanks.
Woo!
Ooh, I like that. Dandelions everywhere.
So good.
A field of dreams, dreams, dreams.
I kept thinking, don't mess with photosynthesis. I don't know what's wrong with me today.
I like that.
That's what I
Oh,
got.
nothing's wrong with you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Richard.
We need to go around and
Brian.
we need to do graffiti on all the roadside signs that say "Don't mess with Texas" and just slap a sticker across that says photosynthesis.
Yeah, that's perfect.
That's good.
Next up, let's see. Who would like to read? Kamala Platt, welcome. Would you like to share something today?
Actually, I will, but I want to go get my book in the other room. So maybe after
Have
one
someone
more
else
or
first?
something.
Okay.
Or
yeah.
I'll be right
Okay.
back.
No problem. I'm going to read something then that I just found in one of my little journals. And I maybe I should read it through. I'm scared. I don't know what it's going to share. I wrote it apparently March 9th last year. And I have a dear friend. His name is Ramsey. And I guess he's in the title. Ramsey when he shares. You tell me a story, and I put myself in a vinyl sleeping bag in Montana, slightly unzipped, dental wash waiting as it's too cold yet for the scour and rinse from a late winter spigot all the sugar beet laborers use. I peek out like you tell me to show how you sleep until the very last moment before you clock in yesterday's clothes, so many dozens to pick, process, pack. I feel the ground hard beneath exhausted spine. Maybe it's time for me to run the tractor, be indoors a bit, let my swallows be warm. Okay. Yeah, so I'm recalling that was a little bit of an experiment to uh hold on to a memory of um of a story that was told to me. So it wasn't my own experience. It was about my friend Ramsey working as a migrant worker in Montana or North Dakota on a sugar beet farm for some hard labor and good money. And all the young people, mostly young people who were there, would sleep in tents until it was their time to do their shift. And then they crawl out of their tent wearing the clothes that they'd gone to sleep in to go do another shift. It was very, very cold. And yeah, sometimes you had a turn at running the tractor or being inside a vehicle with a warm heater, and that was a privilege. Um, anyway, he hates sugar beets and doesn't want to eat them anymore. But yeah, I mean, I hear so many wonderful stories from friends, not made up stories, but just their tellings of things that have happened to them. and it's the making of, beautiful, uh, I mean, the remnant doesn't feel like a remnant of somebody's life. It feels like I've, been allowed to go into their veins in a way. Now I'm thinking about your poem, Sue. It's like I get to run in the water, run along the river path with them until I'm no longer with them, right? And the story is ended, or our
Right.
time together is ended, and they're not telling me their stories anymore. Uh, so I think when I wrote that, I was imagining I should write this down. I should write poetic memoirs, memory snippets of what friends have just told me, because there's some delicious detail in it that I never want to forget. So it's an honoring poem in a
Well,
way.
that snippets aspect was one of the things that really made it powerful for me. It felt like
Yeah.
looking at a slideshow of these different images. You know, the swallows and the darkness of being huddled inside a bag and just the light coming through it, or just that it really felt like looking at a series of distinct images that gave a pastiche of how that life at that time
Mhm.
felt for these people, for that person. Very,
Yeah.
very effective.
And very, very honoring too. You're right. Very, you know, yeah. I mean, that's where our food comes from, people who have those experiences and moments in those tents. And we don't usually get any kind of window of what it's really like.
Thank you. Thank you all. So Kamala,
Thank you.
did you find your pieces?
Yeah. um, I just wanted to say, in response to the couple poems, the dandelions. We have dandelions by our bus stop here, and one time I put a photo on the story on Facebook, and I ended up in a discussion um, with my friends from Lebanon originally, and a couple of recipes for dandelion greens that the way her father liked them and the way that. Anyway, I was just when you were talking about stories, I I just it's that season for green stuff, and I mean it's a little too late for the dandelion leaves, I think, because they've been blooming and seeding already. But the amaranth in my little garden out here is I've been picking that, and so I'm yeah into. I mean, I don't do foraging the way some people do, but it's a wonderful thing. And in terms of the river, I long ago I took a class where we were up in the Bemidji boundary waters, and we walked to this place, and it was all frozen because this was January. And then they all of a sudden told us that we were on the in the like where the Mississippi River, I suppose, where the tributary from which the lake ran, or I don't, maybe. Anyway, we were where it began, is what they said. It, there may have been something above us, but we were walking on that, and it. So I related from that memory. Really resonated, and so I decided to read it. This is another river poem, um, and it is well. It talks about several of the refuges down in the Rio Grande Valley, and I think I've read it here before, but I've been reading when I've done reading recently, and I'm preparing for one later. Um, I've read things from my this book or other earlier poems that resonate with things, or I resonate is, I mean, maybe it's a euphemism, but they they do resonate with things that are happening now. Often um, realizing that there's history to a lot of the horrific things um, that are going on, and people have experienced them before, but not maybe in the numbers or whatever. But the reason that I read this poem right now is to commemorate what was at Boca Chica Beach, which is where the river runs into the ocean, but also near where Elon Musk has his little dynasty or whatever, and SpaceX and all of that. So it's at least currently not what it was in 2018 when I wrote this poem, or in 2008 when some of these things happened, when they were, and the things that you might want to know, you might not pick up on if you aren't big on butterflies, is that when I'm talking about things like damsels and dragons, I'm talking about insects, and the area down in the Rio Grande Valley Delta Valle. So I'll go ahead and read this. It's called Rio Grande Bravo Watershed 2018 after Langston Hughes. What do they think when presidential tweets threaten El Valle? The damsels and dragons of Santa Ana, the soldiers and queens on Greg's mist flowers at Mission's National Butterfly Center. Do nightmares descend upon pollinators when they hear of the border walls' second and now third coming? Do Trumpian wars for walls trigger ancestral memories of fleeing the infiltration of steel and concrete into the borderlands back in 08? Do yucca giant skippers pause on the Spanish daggers at Boca Chica Beach to recall tales of canoeists arriving at the small mouth of the Grand River, the eastern end of their trip against a wall, along a river, and into the sea? Do insects wail at the waivers, rejuvenated from April Fools in 2008? Waivers that spew filth in their air and water and on their sacred indigenous vows to protect? Do the chicharas suddenly shudder, scream, or weep? Do the mariposas suffer silently, lose color on their wings like mourners? Maybe they just curl up and crust over. Or do they metamorphose?
Yeah.
That's
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, wow.
Beautiful.
That was a nice punch at the end.
Mhm.
the Boca Chica part. I taught down in what used to be UT Pan Am, and was out at a lot of places, refuges and stuff. But as a Texas naturalist, but the Boca Chica is remembering a trip when we went out to greet a couple people who had done a canoe trip against the wall. We had several marches and stuff when they were first building the wall, the border walls down in Texas. And one of those trips was actually a canoe trip from I don't know exactly where they began, where the where the river is also the dividing line, I suppose, and near El Paso, I suppose. But they went all the way down the river, and when they came to Boca Chica Beach, we were out there to greet them, and so it was such a significant thing to me, and because it's also where Mexico's on one side and the US is on the other, and technically, and it's a sacred place, and it's being just defiled, I guess. So
Desecrated. Yeah.
desecrated, yeah, that's another word.
No.
So anyway, that's
I opened the link that Tammy put up just to look.
Yeah.
shudder.
I really appreciate your bringing that to light.
Thank you.
Thank you for opening that up.
I wish to be doing more to help advocate along with the people down in that area. It's just one of so many issues that I wish I could
Yeah.
be more active with. But the Boca Chica Beach is to Brownsville working families, working poor families, the most accessible beach where they have access to nature and surf life and all of that. Because going to
Mm-hmm.
Padre Island, South Padre, or yeah, Padre Island is just kind of expensive. Like it's touristy, and the prices to match that kind of tourist environment. And now the beach that they've known for decades, generations, is being kind of sequestered for this company town that Elon Musk wants to build, which I guess he'll fancy himself as like, you know, an empire builder, creating a company town in that area. And then of course the SpaceX fails when you know the 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 debris that clutters the beach or falls in the ocean washes up to the shoreline. I mean,
The
there's
residual, the
keep
oil,
yeah, keeping a
the
lot of
residual, the
putting a lot
residue.
of creating a lot of environmental damage impacts that we don't even in North Texas, in our own state, we don't hear about what's happening at the south end of the state, um, as much as I wish we would. But this website might be one way to get a little more informed if you're interested. Thank you,
Who
Kamala, for
knows?
reading that.
Maybe maybe he'll go to prison instead.
There we go.
This
And I'm
that
gonna say
city is
something.
suing.
Yeah.
What's that?
The city of where SpaceX is suing right now, SpaceX, for
Brownsville.
all of the damage that they're and they're currently being looked at by environmentalists from other nations to come in so that they can get a real report. Yeah,
Yeah, I wanted to build
huge
momentum
issue.
for sure. I just want to interject real quick about what you just said, Richard, about him going to prison. I think we can, as writers, we have the capacity with words and language to write things into existence, because we know the leadership, elected or not, they just happen to be there. They're bastardizing the English language in a way that's beyond like poor grammar and misspelled words. It's about renaming and redefining terms and words in a way that degrades and
Mm-hmm.
corrupts. So that corruption is very offensive to me, on top of the other corruptions going on that I'm fully aware of. But we need to take those words back, take words and use them, bend them as we will to bring things into existence, like valor, peace, justice,
Yeah.
integrity, but also creative, uh, culture jamming things, with humor, investing in creative jaunts that make teenagers laugh and want to live forever, uh, and things like that. So I challenge us to to know that we can take on that role. And I know a lot of us here do that already, as you've evidenced by sharing work over the years with me and others.
It's
I don't
also
know.
about banning words. I have to say this because there are several words in the title of my scholarly book, not my poetry, that, I mean, it's scholarly and activist or whatever, but that are banned. And that's a strange feeling. So
Doesn't mean we can't write them down. The speaker I saw today, who was, a poet, lovely, amazing woman. And one of the things she noted, because she was talking, for those who didn't hear this remark earlier, was talking about, writing with and about joy as a form of resistance, but also as a form of nourishing yourself. And and she's as pissed off as anybody. But and she noted that, she said in 100 years or whatever, I think she said, sure there'll be all these like uh, government documents, probably all doctored, and there'll be remnants of the reportage of the time. But the real record will be what the poets are writing, what the creative writers are putting down. That will tell people what really happened. And I'm, we gave her some cheers for that one.
Yeah.
You
Who
know,
was the woman?
her name is Nazela Jameson, and it's Jameson spelled Jamison. Nazela is Nazelah, but actually, I'll put this in the chat again because it's at the very top, and this is compiled. This link takes you to online readings, and she has a reading that's a couple Fridays a month. Comes out of Oakland called the THEE virtual open mic. And I think her name is actually on this link. It's just a list of readings, that I helped compile. I gave
One,
I gave a web page for it actually. So
Thank you.
I don't know who it was that put this out there, but one of the word things that I've started embracing is that my participation in this march today. You change the word. I'm not a protester. I'm a protector.
Oh, nice.
So
Yeah.
I'm out there marching to protect our democracy. I'm out there to protect nature. I'm out there to protect. It's
I love that. That's powerful.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for sharing that one. I
My
think
knowledge of the origins of that goes back to, I mean, it's probably elsewhere too, but Standing Rock and the indigenous water protectors.
yeah. I thought it was an indigenous person, but I wasn't sure.
mhm.
they,
As I was
I put her name
biking,
in the
Thank
yeah.
you.
yeah, thank you for that. And that name does ring a bell, so I'll thank you. I'll look that up, and then I can share the chat with folks after we're done. I That can be easily emailed to you. Let's see.
Mhm.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is I was biking somewhere yesterday. I was thinking of the word patriot because I saw it on the side of a truck or something, and thought about my relationship with that word, and then I remembered that some time ago I saw that some people were referring to themselves instead as matriots, and I thought, oh yeah, yeah, that's me. I'm a matriot, and I have no qualms or shame.
nice.
I can define that as I will. So, uh, yeah, just more word.
Jimmy, I want to observe something kind of springboarding off what you and really all of y'all have just been weaving together. That that notion of writing into reality what we want to see and
Yeah.
what we and in writing into safety what we want to protect.
Yes.
And it's not just like this uh, thing that we can do if we feel like getting around to it. It's almost like becoming a real duty because they're doing the opposite. They're writing into reality the destruction of values that we hold dear. They're writing into reality, calling someone a terrorist, and then by calling them that, they suffer the demonic consequences of, even if they're an innocent person, they suddenly are now becoming a terrorist in the eyes of the law, and they get their life gets destroyed. And so we actively have to fight that fire with our own fire. And it's, I'm so glad you framed it that way because it's like, yeah, we have to stand up and give it right back to them, create that history that Richard mentioned, because otherwise only history that's going to be left behind is the one that they create. And we can see how foul and vile that is. So yeah.
I also think it's a good time to be keeping non-digital copies of things,
Yes.
just to mention.
Yes. Thank you.
Mhm.
Yes.
Right
Yeah,
on.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
I'm
printed
Definitely.
them.
challenging myself because I carry little notebooks with me in my backpack to try to type them up right after I've handwritten them in the journal or notebook, and then print them out so I have hard copies. So
Yeah.
I do believe that's something I want to put more effort into this
I
year.
think the trees will forgive us.
Yeah, good reminder. Thanks.
So let's hear from some folks. Oh, Kamala, did you have another that you wanted to share
Well,
at the
yeah,
top?
I was just going to add one more thing that's happening. Like today, Devon Pena had posted something that on his environmental justice and food page. That was, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was from a website that is likely to get either destroyed or messed with by the government. And I know earlier people were, when websites were being like, it was hard for researchers in health and other areas because what was there yesterday was gone all of a sudden. And lots of, so people are also downloading from the internet anything that they think might be um,
Disappeared.
taken away. So that's another important aspect of it.
Devon Pena, I know who he is. I've met him, but I'm gonna put his like some of his titles. He's an academic scholar, and would you call him a permaculturist or eco justice organizer? What would
Well, he has a. I mean, I think the best thing to say would be to go to the environmental and food justice website and write his name. If you write his name, if you look for that, um, you'll see what he does. And he works also with the San Luis um uh People's Market, and they're growing there. This is in San Luis, New Mexico, I believe, and they're growing like this. I got some beans from them that are this special. It's a little bolita beans, but it's a specific one that is old. I mean, there's like three different varieties, and this is the one from San Luis, and people are it's a heritage
sure
being, and
reintroducing it
yeah,
into
yeah,
into the earth.
or continuing it. I don't know if it ever really went away, um, but anyway, he does a lot of that kind of thing, and he's taught in Washington State, but he's now, I think, mostly based in New Mexico.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. Lorraine is here, and La Pequeña Lulu and Paris. Uh, who would like to share next? Who might be ready to
I
share?
could go.
Oh, hi, Lorraine. Welcome.
Hello. Hello. Um, this is called Bathing in the Moon. Shadowed pines and robles against the royal sky. Venus stunning in the depths of stars and beyond the Plutonian mystery. I await the full moon to rise above cragged, snowy peaks, tendrils of steam drifting over the pools, over boulders smoothed by time, my muscles loosening in the hot waters of the spring. In this austral spring, the eastern sky lightens with that Taurus moon nearing the horizon, our bright star reflected in the clear mineral pool. Listening to the crickets, the unseen river rushing through the forest, that moon so slowly rising, Venus quickly sliding away, the steam tendriling, the water tendriling around me into my pores, to my roots. Luna now peeks between the boughs of the silhouette roble and pine. The vapors penetrate deeper, deeper, calluses falling away. Her light rippling now across this warmth, across this pool, tendriling into myself. And so,
Oh, damn.
Lorraine, sometimes I think your poetry alone will save us all.
thank you, Richard.
Oh, yeah. Tenderling. You're so tenderly.
Do you have a cat in your arms?
Who are you speaking to?
You, Richard.
No, my hands are folded and I
Oh,
have a hand brace.
okay.
I'm just sort of sitting back.
Thank you,
Letting the
Lorraine.
words spindle around you.
I'm muted you, Sue, because the dogs were a little bit loud, but feel free to come back up again.
Thank you.
La Pequeña Lulu, do you have something you'd like to share or read? Ahorita
Hello.
no? Okay.
No, I was just trying to figure out the audio on this. I haven't used Zoom in a while. So hello, people. Thank you for sharing. It's been a while since I've been with my dear friend, Tammy Gomez, and it's good to hear Kamala. I haven't seen you, and we live close, but it's wonderful to hear people's words. Um, I dug up poems from the 90s, and I'm just trying to go through stuff and see what I can start pulling together. But I think I'm just going to reflect on the fact that I can't go to protest and I can't be there with friends. And I apologize with the emotional distress I feel that not being there with people. Um, it's always really important to hear people that do go and shouting powerful words. I'm always moved. I'll sit there and shout back to the TV if I'm hearing something. And today it was just like, show me what democracy looks like. And so I was seeing all the people that were out there, and it was just really powerful to me because I can't be there, but I know that I'm there with so many others like me. And then I thought about both my parents being writers and poets and being part of La Causa, part of the word that needs to be spoken by writers and poets like yourselves. And I thought, well, I just need to keep on writing and connecting to writers and poets. And so I'm so glad that you shared this new poet that you had, Miss Brown. That was good. I started looking up the stuff, and it gets me out of the pity party. So thank you for letting me reflect. I saw a pretty incredible movie. I can't really call it, but a documentary. It really isn't a movie. Um, it's called 2073, and it's everything. Um, it's not pleasant, but it's reality. And I'm all right living between my PlayStation and the reality of what is 2025. That's it.
Literally, thank you for sharing your perspective because you may not have been able to walk today or recently out there physically with those people, but what you just did brought us all together and put us all there and put us all on the path to doing whatever it takes in whatever way we can. So you you just gave your contribution, and it's huge.
Totally. Your voice helped to complete us. Thank you.
I don't want anybody to feel like they're languishing if they have to stay indoors or they can't be out working or looking for work now. I don't want people to feel like they're insignificant and not thought of. Um, um, and the online sharing that I get to witness and read, that helps remind me all the time of the ongoing problematized bodies that we're in, captured bodies, detained bodies, and um,
Mhm.
sequestered and oppressed bodies that some of us are in. But I want to be aware because I need to know who's out there that I can't see. Um, and
Yeah.
and I take my steps as I can move on my bike or to work or to move about fairly freely in my town. Um, you know, I want to walk consciously, knowing that I'm doing that. I have privilege, and I'm wearing the shirt that says "Tienes I can't even say the word. Do you have privilege? Privilegio. Correct me, Lorraine. I just bastardized that word. Um, so I walk with
Tienes
privilege.
privilegio.
Yo tengo privilegio. Thank you.
That's it.
And I own that. Yeah, I own that
Mhm.
reality. Thank you, La Luna,
Thank you.
Lulu Pequeña. Thank you.
Yeah, I wanted to say too that I mean one of the things I was writing about even a couple months ago about was any form of resistance. But we don't all need to be out walking. I couldn't be out walking today because was helping run a workshop, but I don't think that's all of it. I think um, every thought and every word, every thought, and every word spoken or written, and
Mhm.
really just every moment of life in you that is, you know, present is resistance, really. But thanks for sharing that.
Bien dicho.
Hmm.
Couple of a while back, I shared something on my on Facebook that was something. Well, anyways, it says all the different ways that people can be inputting. It isn't just all marching. There's letter writing to do and signing petitions and giving food and water support and every, all different kinds of things that we can be doing, creating art, poetry, whatever.
Living well.
Anyways,
Yeah.
to be helping the movement.
Yeah, that's a great point. I'm not in the States, and yeah, I have a lot of privilege as well because it's my decision to be out of the States now. But then you kind of get stuck where you can't go home when you want to go home and be in the streets and take part.
Hmm.
But I think someone said it's how important it is to thank the people, the heroes and the heroines that are out there, like the senator who went to El Salvador. I mean, God, was he the only one who thought of that? But he did it, and he to just thank people for doing the good that they're doing, that how important that is.
Hmm.
Yeah, I have a file that
Yeah.
I started recently that's basically titled Chingonex, and it's where I list the names of the people have never met before who've done what I consider heroic things here in the last few months. And I want to remember their names. I want to utter them in case they someday get disappeared or people forget about the act or acts that they committed, the things, the way they served in order to help release somebody from pain or help somebody, you know, attain a little bit of justice. And also, La Pequeña Lulu, I would say it's also important if you have the time and the space to document how you're feeling, what these times are making you think and feel. I mean, that I think the memoirs that are going to come out of this are going to be very valuable about how you feel
Mhm.
your yourself changing inside your body, how you're moving differently, the self-protective ways of walking and being in our time. Yeah, that's important to not forget, I guess. I have a friend, Ken Shimamoto, who was at the protest today, and his thing, he says his whole purpose in life is to give out these free zine copies of this document. I think he downloaded it, and it's basically a little kind of a summation of what constitutes this Project 2025 initiative. So he's handing them out to people, and he gave me this one to give to my nephew. So yeah, every action that you can think of that you feel passionate about is worthy, is a worthy action.
Mhm.
Paris, are you? Yeah, Paris, would you like to share show? You can you can share something on your screen if you like, or you could do whatever you like. Welcome, Paris.
Paris might be away from the screen at the moment.
Yeah, maybe so.
Oh, hey, Tammy.
Yes, hi.
I I'm totally on that vibe. I decided to pull out all the empty journals that I collect, and I thought, I'm gonna do my own little diario. The Lulu, Pequeña Lulu diario of our time since 2025. And the latest one that I can fill for this week is that I contacted my closest friends to give them the name of the lawyer that I have. So I should go ahead and make sure that I clarify while I'm saying lawyer. I am in the middle of getting citizenship while all the shit show is going on. So
Can I
I
mention
decided
that this
to,
is being recorded? Do you want me to unrecord for the moment?
uh, it's fine. I think I'm okay.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Um,
Sorry to interrupt.
yeah, no, no, that's okay. I mean, essentially, I know that I have to be extremely guarded. Thank God my parents came from an era of where this is all familiar to me. Just want to let you know that I've lived through toque de queda, which is martial law. I've lived through military upheaval in my streets of my hometown. I've seen tanks, students being run down. So all of this is familiar, but it made me also think about that I needed to have representation. And so I left my name with a couple of people and my lawyer's name so that if anything does happen to me, they all know that I have legal representation. But as we can clearly see, that doesn't mean shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to say it to the American who's living outside of the States because I just read that somebody just got picked up and has been incarcerated for 2 months. So I thought, well, might as well start these diaries now. And I totally appreciate that direction, Tammy. That's very important that we do need to document. And flashing back between my childhood experiences and this is an interesting milieu of things. And so I do want to express the fact that um, because the fear is real, I also I'm very cautious about um, where I go, which is why I don't attend the rallies and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And it's just because we all know, we all know. So I appreciate this space. Is Paris back? Hello, Paris.
Um, thank you. Thank you for sharing again. Paris, are you interested in coming on the mic and sharing with us tonight? Okay, that's, yeah,
I
we'll
wanted to
just,
point something out,
yeah, Brian, go ahead.
just real quick. So for for those of you who are not here in Fort Worth, where Tammy is, uh, making this happen from, there's a thunderstorm rolling in. So if, as sometimes happens at my house, power gets shut down by a sudden lightning strike and everything goes black, don't assume the worst, at least tonight. But also don't assume that it's just lightning. So just know that it could be innocuous. But let's hope
Where
that.
are you? I'm
Brian's
sorry.
in Fort
Where are
Worth.
you, Brian? Oh,
I'm also
okay.
in Fort Worth. Yeah, that's how I
Where,
know
where,
there's a storm rolling
okay. Well, Fort Worth really seems to get the golpes, a
This
lot
year, this
of
year anyway.
one kind or another.
Yeah.
It's like heat or these ice storms or jeez.
Oh, we got an enormous sandstorm, windstorm about a month ago, and that's unprecedented. Where you look
Oh
up and
my
you see
God.
the sky is red, and it's not the sunset; it's sand or dust from, I guess, from the west, west part of the state.
Yeah,
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 it's
yeah.
it's a lot of things at once, and yeah, I don't want to belabor
It's a lot.
the
It's
climate
a
change
lot.
impacts
It's just,
happening,
you
but
guys
there's a
are
lot.
really you're getting it.
Oh yeah, I just looked at her radar. Yeah, Tammy, y'all are about to get hit right now.
Yeah, I'm hearing
So
Yeah.
the thunder,
please,
and
Oh my
my
God.
nephew's staying with his grandma, so I probably should check in with him in a little while. Um, is there, I don't have an urge or need to share anything, a poem, but is there somebody who's been saving something that they'd like to share, uh, to kind of close us out for the
I,
night?
I kind of have.
Okay.
I kind of have, if I may. Um,
let's go, Richard.
I'm stuck on the Earth Day thing today.
Good.
Yay, las
And I was thinking of
plantas.
reading this at the thing today, and I didn't have time, or I wanted, I can only read my new thing anyway. Also, want to mention I had a little tiny. Thank you, Lorraine. I had a little tiny bit of good news since any and people have been talking, seeing here for a while. No, I've been out mostly out of work for many months or very little work, and it's still sort of the case, but I did get a little bit of work. And one of the things I got, I'm actually so excited about because I'm editing, doing editorial work for a book that's being written by this guy in the UK who is an expert on sustainability, and he's writing a book about ways to come up with new approaches, more approaches to sustainability, like new thinking, and which I love anyway. But I'm getting paid to like help him like concoct this manuscript. He wanted someone to come in and help make it as sort of alive and accessible as possible, so that it wasn't like a textbook, so it was more like a human book. And so that's to me that's exciting. I got a work that I love.
It's
Any,
great.
anyway, I
And
wondered if I could take a
don't forget the U in honor, the U in color, the U in got to
I'm
put
not
the U in
proofreading, but yeah, I know. No, I know. I know. I know. I actually know the guy pretty well too. um, if I may, I'd like to take us out of the meditation. And Jeffrey, you may have to, you know, be okay with it because you've heard it before because it's from one of my podcasts in the fall. This one was titled Tree, and it is Earth, it's sort of Earth Day on Tuesday. And Is that okay with you guys?
Yes, please, because
Mhm.
yeah, I
Yes,
need to log off
yes.
soon. Go ahead, start, please.
Yay.
Imagine a strong old tree, maybe a great live oak. Then lie before it, put your face downward between two old roots, and relax into it. Breathe deep and slow and smell the soil. Its many compounds and chemicals, bitter, sweet, musky, mineral, mixing, swirling, eddying at Earth's pace, slow and familiar. You know these scents. Breathe them in and be there. The soil so soft against your form, your skin, your face, and closed lids. Luxuriate a moment. The dark is comfortable, the soil lush and scented of memory, almost silken now as you sift into it, softening, sinking a bit, and it's okay. Your material is loose and you sink into the loam where you are fine. You are welcome here. You move freely, but for a moment, just be still. Feel the lightness, hover in the loam and take it in. So many particles, old wood cells, hints of vegetation, tiny pebbles, grains, organics transitioning, and minerals and water, which is good because you are water and can move with it. Seeping, seeking, drawn by the looming roots, serene and thirsty, and you will enter one. A little trepidation here. The entrance, the entrance is minuscule, but you are mostly immaterial. And here are tendrils soft and sturdy, filaments sure and activated, and they will take you. They take you, water and mineral you've always been, and you are in. You rise through the root. You are safe here, then into the core, into the lift of xylem, magnificent chambers of sap between heartwood and new wood. And you rise. You feel the pull, certain and steady transpiration of sky sucking water from leaves far above, as you marvel, the heartwood, the true core beside you, apotheosis of old cells into this resiny tower and storehouse, strong and flexile, around which new life thrives. And you turn toward that life. New cells birthed and pulsing, pushing inward to sapwood and outward well, go see. You enter a radiant vessel that pushes you outward to phloem, living canyon, far as you can sense, coursing with sugars and nutrients in every direction, downward, upward, inward, embraced by bark, most alive, most vibrant. And here you should dwell, hang out a while, relax and drift and heal, bask in the nectar that feeds life, original sucrose from which all vitality springs. Soak it in, bathe in it. This is where you are from. Bide here and grow strong, vital, vivid, via, vis. You'll know when to move on as you must, because everything moves. You came here to move, and you have. Now kick off upward again with new vigor, new agency, circumspection, back on your path to the source, upward. You pulse back to xylem and convey your water again, your element lifted strongly now, forcefully. The vacuum is nearer and needs to be filled, rushing upward, branching off, narrowing, finding track through twig and stem. And here you are at the source in leaf with the red blue engines that mingle your water with carbon dioxide and light and make us all mingle and make, keep sugars and release oxygen, keep and give, the first wonder, the mainspring, the gift, millions of engines in this tender structure, this leaf high above, higher, reaching, 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 release. That's the tree meditation.
Gracias, Richard.
Yeah. I just started reading that around. I mean, I wrote it in my podcast last fall, and it just kept coming back to me. So I thought I should just read this.
Thank you. It was
Thank
very
you.
exciting.
And it's going to keep
It was
coming back to me.
exciting.
Well, if you look at my podcast, you can listen to it again. It's the one episode called Tree, although it's a much longer
Okay.
episode that comes toward the end.
I
Mhm.
want to share something before we leave, and that's just image. This is a website for a new book that's going to be officially released May 13th, mid-May next month. The book is titled Detained, and it was written by a young male, 13 years old. The first ever memoir of a child's experience in detention on the U.S. Mexico border. He was at the Tornillo detention center, and apparently he was able to sneak in a notebook, and he kept a journal of his experience being in that detention center camp, concentration camp, whatever you might call it, for 5 months. There will be 5 events across Texas to help promote the book. Nuestra Palabra is involved, Kamala. So Tony Diaz has been in touch with
Mm.
me. So I helped him get booking at a Dallas venue for this
Yay.
book tour. So that's happening May 30th in Dallas, but they're also stopping in Austin, I believe San Antonio and Houston, and maybe El Paso, I think. But Di Esperanza, who's the actual child, now a 30-year-old, who wrote, kept the journal, is not going to be able to tour and be in person with us for obvious reasons, but his co-writer, Gerardo Ivan Morales, who is a DACA recipient, will be in person. So anyway, spread the word. It sounds like it's going to be a marvelous release, published by Simon and Schuster. So just sharing.
Wow.
Wow.
Dice is coming out through a big publishing
Thank
house.
you.
Could you
Hey,
please tap that into the chat
yeah, that's
Thank
the address? Yeah.
Thank you, Tammy.
You're welcome. Thank you all for being
Thank you.
here. This was quite lovely because really miss seeing folks. And, we represent many different cities and or places of origin. Paris, sometime, maybe if you come back next month, I'd love for you to share a little bit about your performance piece in Amsterdam that you recently did. And everybody just bring whatever your heart tells you to bring, even if there's a theme. We really don't have to stay, uh, you know, anchored to a theme. Whatever we feel in our hearts is usually what we're supposed to be sharing. And it often turns out that our works really kind of intermingle in a way that's really great. We do great alchemy together, and I love that about this company we keep. I'm
Can
going
I say
to
one short thing? Oh,
Uh,
sorry.
yeah, do you want it to be recorded? Because I'm about to stop recording.
Either way.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
go ahead and say it then. I'll leave you.
There's an International Writers Festival here. I'd never heard of it before. I love the idea of that. It's in January of 2026. And I don't go to the San Miguel maybe you should. I don't go to the San Miguel Literary Festival that's kind of famous because they don't do a lot of poetry. And but this international one has, I'm kind of curious. So,
Do you want to
hey,
tell
I
us
got
where
a
you
place.
are for folks that don't know where you live or reside right now? Because some folks might
I
not.
live outside of. I live very close to San Miguel de Allende in Mexico, but I don't live inside. But I live in commuting distance.
Nice.
So anyway, I got a lot of places, I got a lot of little nooks to stay in if you guys want to come.
Shalom. Thank you.
How long can we stay?
3 days. No, I'm
So
kidding. I'm kidding. I
what are
don't
the dates?
care.
What are the dates for the international festival?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't have the date.
Okay, did you say
January
January?
Tell
20.
us next time.
January.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then there's something else to look up, and it's called the Hellbender Poetry Gathering, I believe. Hellbender, did it say right? Hellbender, Hell, Hellbender, not it's not Hellraisers. Yeah, Hellbender, and it's going to be in Asheville, North Carolina in October. And it's first of
Woohoo!
its type gathering in the area near Black Mountain, I believe, and it sounds very promising, and it's about 5 or 6 days of yeah poetry and workshops
Oh,
and
wow.
communing
Okay.
and bonfires in the evening, and yeah.
Ooh,
Thank
One,
you so much.
good.
one
I'm
thing,
gonna stop recording. Oh, one more,
just one thing. I wanted to add a name for your list, your Chingonix list. Um,
please.
I think you should put the name Tammy Melody Gomez on there for creating this forum, which in a time of separation brought us all together and has continued to do that. So thank you.
Hey,
Oh
Going
well,
on
thank you.
5 years.
I second that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Kudos, Tammy.
And this was
Oh,
so joyous tonight for me. I just had to tell you. Yeah.